Master Your Mindset Radio, episode 75.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hi friends, welcome to another episode. Hang out with me for a few minutes today as we talk about the crab mentality, otherwise known as the crab theory, crabs in a bucket, the crab mindset. Have you ever heard of this before? Now, those of you who are big ocean or shore people who enjoy seafood and catching your own seafood, you know about crabs and buckets, right? So you go searching for crabs and get yourself a big old white bucket and start to put the crabs in that bucket. Now, you know, if you put one crab by itself in that bucket, that crab will escape. That crab will find its way out. But all it takes is for you to put another crab or many crabs together in a bucket, and all of a sudden, no one can escape. It's a pattern of behavior in crabs that keeps them all trapped. A crab can't escape in that scenario, but as soon as the crab tries to, the other crabs pull him down. The other crabs keep each other from escaping in that bucket. The more you put in there, the more they undermine each other, the more they pull each other down. Of course, all they're doing is ensuring their collective demise. It's like this useless king of the hill behavior, right? One gets on top and tries to escape, and the others pull on his legs and pull him down. It's kind of interesting. It's funny to see happen, definitely. But when you start to think about it in terms of human behavior, it becomes a little sobering, and you start to wonder how many of us walk around out there with the crab mentality. I think in human terms, it highlights less than desirable emotions that we as humans have at times, like envy and resentment and spite, competitive feelings that we have. So I want to take a little journey today and dive into this crab mentality as a challenge to you. I first want to challenge you to see if there are any signs of it in yourself, because it's definitely not something that produces a good mindset in ourselves, nor do we actually build anyone else up if we operate from a crab mentality. So first I want to see if you, being honest with yourself, see any signs of the crab mentality. And then we'll talk about the limiting beliefs behind it and how to overcome those. So what would you see in yourself that would indicate, what signs? It's difficult to accept it, but what signs would you see in yourself that would say, hey, I struggle with the crab mentality? Again, maybe hard to admit to others, but you can be honest with yourself. So here are a few questions for you. Do you find it hard to be genuinely happy for other people? In a genuine way, when something good happens to them? Do you struggle with being happy for them? Do you pretend to be happy for them, but it really makes you feel bad about yourself? It's part of the crab mentality. Do you treat others as inferior? You know, some people have this arrogance about them, and often it's really a cover for their own lack of confidence, but they do tend to treat people as inferior. Again, crab mentality. Do you secretly wish others would fail? Oof, I know. These hurt, hard to admit it. But if you do, if you secretly wish others would fail, that is the crab mentality. Do you see everyone as a competitor? Do you see them as competing for something that you want, so that what happens to them affects you, has something to do with you? Looking around and all you see is competition on your job or in other areas of your life. That's crab mentality. How much compassion do you honestly, truly have in your heart for other people? How much compassion do you have that's about them and not about you? About truly looking at someone's situation and wishing the best for them, hoping the best for them, and not bringing yourself into the equation. Do you have that? Do you have that compassion? Do you spend time talking about people or discussing ideas and solutions? Now think about that for a minute. If you spend most of your time gossiping or talking about other people and much less time discussing, working on, bringing forth ideas and solutions into this world, into your job, into your family, into the civics, arena, then you're really focusing on the crab mentality, aren't you? You're talking about other people, ultimately trying to bring them down or diminish them. I know these are painful to hear, but it's good for us to challenge ourselves, to recognize areas that we need to shed some light on. Are you a know-it-all? That's another aspect of the crab mentality, I think, because there's some people who, for whatever reason, they seem to know or think they know everything about everything. And of course, we know that's not true. But they have a hard time letting someone else be the expert, letting someone else have the last word. Does that happen to you? And, maybe this is the hardest of them all. You can't admit that you have the crab mentality or that you struggle with it. Or sometimes it pops up its ugly head in your life. But if we're all being honest, all of these do show up in our lives at some point or another. So each of us has to overcome the crab mentality and make sure that it's not there secretly or not so secretly operating in our life. Right now in social media, you can see the crab mentality all over the place on full display. It is truly the enemy of unity. And if we have any major problem right now, we have many, but if you look at the top few, lack of unity, incredible division in this country and in this world. And the crab mentality is the enemy of unity. So it's on full display all over the place. And it works harder and is more obvious in some groups and in some cultures. It's something that is easier to see in certain places. But I would say it's insidious and it's seeping into just about every area of society. I think as parents, we need to stop that cycle. We need to be careful that we don't hand down crab mentality to our children. What do your kids watch you do? What do they hear you say? How do you react to situations? Are you supportive of others? Or are you challenged and feel competitive and that you have to get one up on other people? How do you talk to your kids about competition and success and achievement? Be careful that there's no crab mentality in all of those things that you're teaching them. So let's put ourselves in the other shoe on the other side of this. What does it feel like to be the recipient of crab mentality? Right? To be someone who suffers because of someone else's crab mentality. And again, I think we can all relate to that. I'm sure we've all been the victim of, I don't like that word victim, but the recipient of someone else's crab mentality, and it's affected us in a negative way. Situations where you don't get credit for your work, where you don't trust that others around you have your best interests at heart. It's something that instinctively we can pick up on. We know that they're not for us, that they're for themselves, and perhaps even against us. It's easy in these situations to become paranoid and distrustful. Do you struggle with that a lot? Are you paranoid of others' behavior or thoughts, what they think of you? Are you distrustful? Do you feel like you lack a support network? You look around you and you wonder, who is for me? Who is for me? Who is in this with me? Who cares about what happens to me? Sometimes we feel like we don't have that support network. You feel like you are truly on your own. And in some cases, you may begin to underperform on purpose to avoid the pain of being held back, or to avoid the criticism from those that may be jealous, or to avoid the behavior, the negative behavior that comes from others who want to hold you back. I know a lot of people who do that. They sort of dumb themselves down because they don't want to stand out. Because when you stand out, you invite criticism, right? This kind of goes into the fear of success that I've talked about before. People want success. They say they want success, but what comes with it is more exposure to others and therefore more criticism. And because so many people do have the crab mentality, then you start to feel like others are trying to pull you down. So you have a choice. Do you continue on your path, or do you minimize yourself to avoid suffering from others' crab mentality, from others and the pain of those who wish to hold you back? So it's definitely a experience that I think is common to all of us, to either be one who has the crab mentality once in a while, and maybe some of us suffer from it more than others, but definitely in common, I think that something in common we all have is being the recipient of it and experiencing that from our fellow human beings. It's painful. Both sides of that coin hold us back. Both sides of that coin keep us from what we are meant to do. We are either giving into it to avoid the pain of receiving it, or we continue to see the world through these eyes that say, basically, if I can't have it, you can't have it. That is the core of what the crab mentality is. And it's a damaging mindset. So there are definitely limiting beliefs behind this crab mentality that I think is helpful if we can talk about them, because then maybe that gives you more of an opportunity to identify it in your life and overcome it. Some of these limiting beliefs, these lies that we tell ourselves that we don't even know sometimes that we are buying into. One of them is that blessings and favor and resources, opportunity, money is limited. This belief, it's a false belief, it's a limiting belief that it's limited. So what that means then, if you have more of something, that means I get less of it. It's a lie of scarcity. And that is a whole podcast on itself. In fact, I may have done that already. I don't recall. But the lie of scarcity keeps us from being able to enjoy others' achievements. Because when someone achieves something, someone gets something, someone has something, if we believe the lie of scarcity, we then automatically think there's less for us, but it's not true. It's just simply not true. There is no limit to the possibility. If you look at life through spiritual eyes, you understand there are no limited resources. There simply are not. In fact, God talks about our gift making room for us. Making room for us. If we operate in our gift, it makes room for us. It's not, oh, you better get in line quickly because there are only so many spaces. And no matter your gift, only so many opportunities are available. It's simply not true. It's a lie. But we have a hard time breaking out of that because we see the world in terms of a time continuum, a space continuum, right? And there are only so many limited resources. And if you operate from that vantage point, it's very easy to fall into the crab mentality. But that is self-imposed. I believe with all my heart there is no limit and there are no limiting resources, and that you have to see yourself that way and know that your path and your purpose and your gift will make room for you, which means it has nothing to do with anyone else. Another limiting belief behind the crab mentality is that you can't get ahead without someone else moving aside. So again, it's sort of like, in order for me to get ahead in life, someone has to step out of the way. Someone has to move out of the way or give up something, sort of tied into limited resources, right? That your advancement must only be accomplished by someone else stepping out of the way. Again, not true, simply not true. Another limiting belief is that what other people achieve makes me look weaker. So someone else who achieves something somehow has a reflection on what you're not doing. And I would say to you, if you believe that, what does that have to do with you? What does someone else have to do with you? Well, logically, nothing, right? Logically, what someone else does, has, doesn't have, what does that have to do with you? But again, we see ourselves through the lens of other people, and we don't focus on the fact that we were created on purpose for a purpose that is specific and unique to ourselves. And other people's path in life, whatever path they take, the decisions they make, the goals they reach, what does that have to do with you? But you'll find often in life when you push yourself and achieve something, sometimes people will treat you in a way that is almost a rejection, because what you do makes them feel worse about what they haven't done. But you can't think that way. What does someone else's achievements, goals, dreams, what does that have to do with you? You are responsible for your path. Have you heard the quote before? I'm sure you have, that a rising tide lifts all ships. That is the antithesis of the crab mentality, right? We can all rise together. That your ability to pull someone else up, to help someone else, actually helps you. That's the right mindset to replace the crab mentality. Because the truth is, pulling someone else down, like the crabs do in the bucket to each other, will never help you reach the top. None of those crabs escape, not one of them, because they keep each keep pulling each other down. It's not providing a path for one of them to get out. It just means that they're guaranteeing everybody's demise together. And that isn't going to move us forward. So how do we combat this ultimately? I think, as I've said before, it's important to see yourself as unique, as created on purpose for a purpose, as different and unique, so that your future, your goals, your destiny, while we work together to get to things in life, to accomplish in life, but we do work together to do that. While we do that, it still is your unique path. You don't need someone else to fail for you to succeed. It's about what you were designed specifically to do. You have your own path. People definitely help you get there, and you help others get there. We can't do it alone, but it's not a race. It's not a race, because there is nobody that clones you on this earth. There is no one created exactly like you. So what are you racing towards? You're racing towards being yourself. Yes, we're all running a race, but not with that pressure to get there before someone else. The motivation should be to get there, to be in the fullness of who you were created to be, to focus on your own personal growth, and recognize that the more you attempt to limit others, the more you engage in that behavior, whether knowingly or unknowingly, the more that you have the crab mentality, the more you limit yourself. You really do. For what we do unto others happens to us. It's a spiritual principle of you reap what you sow. So if you're going to sow discord and you're going to sow competition that's negative, if you're going to pull people down, you will reap that as well. And you will not get ahead by doing that. Ultimately, focusing on helping others find their purpose, use their gifts, find their way, it will help you. That's how it works. You will receive what you give, and how much better to give, right? There's a quote that I love that I'm going to leave you with here, which is, blowing out other people's candles doesn't make yours glow brighter. And that is absolutely the truth. So listen, expect nothing from others in this world. And I don't say that in a negative way, but don't have expectations so people continuously let you down. Focus on your mindset. Focus on getting your mindset healthy, on your behavior, and look for opportunities every day to help others, to push them out of the bucket. Push them out of the bucket. If you are in that bucket with 100 other people, get everybody out. Guess what? Then you'll be able to get out as well. We help others and we get helped. So I hope that allows you to see, although it's difficult, to see and admit when you have the crab mentality, to stop it, to stop that kind of negative behavior. Recognize it in others, not to judge them, but to be careful that you don't hold yourself back because of it. There will be people who judge you. There will be people who don't want you to succeed because it makes them feel bad about themselves. You will experience this. You have to press forward anyway. You have to pray for them and hope they come around, and you must press forward to your true self, in your true self, to your true gifting, your true purpose, your path. You're not competing with anyone. You're really competing against yourself, right? Because you have to keep yourself going and press on towards the goal and the prize of what you're supposed to do in this world. It's about you, and help others, because the more that you help others get out of the bucket, that's how much more you will be helped. And I hope this podcast helped you and challenged you. Think about it this week. Don't carry that crab mentality. Start to change things little by little and focus on other people, and know that you are special. You have a purpose. It is unique, and we need you to figure that out and operate in that. The world needs you. Have a great week, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.